Hey everyone, this is Chrissy and welcome to the 2020 Style Challenge and new channel mascot introduction because yes, this is officially the new channel mascot because I wanted to do something fun to add a little consistency between the videos. So say hello to Chrissy Cat. She is now the channel mascot. So on to the styles. This time I am tackling, and actually no, before I go any further with this, I should probably also say I did have a style challenge video on here, but I think, if I remember correctly, that was one of the videos I deleted when YouTube was rolling out the new changes as far as what content is towards not kid audiences, and I was worried that would get flagged as for kids when it's not. So, I have done this before. It was back in 2017. So this is my second time doing it on this channel, but it's not on here anymore. So at least that first one isn't. So yeah, no. We are tackling styles that inspired me to draw more and just inspired my styles throughout the year. And obviously started with Chalk Zone. That is one of my favorite shows and actually inspired me to give animation a shot, because every now and then I have gone back to attempting animation and it's fun. It's just a lot of work and I find I tend to get a little impatient. So I keep making some progress with animation and then just stopping. So Chalk Zone, love it, loved the style. That is an inspiration on many levels for me as someone who always wanted to see their art come to life. And then obviously Disney. This time around, I think I did a much better job at capturing the Disney style. So I went with kind of more of like a classic anthropomorphic Disney style because, well, I do like the Zootopia style, and it sort of does have a bit of that vibe to it. I grew up with movies like The Aristocats, which was one of my favorites as a kid, and I loved it. I grew up with all of those, with Aristocats, the original Winnie the Pooh stuff. I grew up with all of those on VHS, because yes, I'm that old. So I wanted to mimic the style that I grew up with. And you will note, out of all of these, there is only one where I give in and decide to give my character, Chrissy Cat, 5 fingers, and that is in the very last one, which I will tell you about when we get there. But yeah, no. This I wanted to give a very classic look to, and I am very happy with how it turned out this time around. I think with this whole style challenge this year, I 100% nailed, or at least succeeded in making it clear what the styles are and really replicating them compared to the very first time back in 2017 when I attempted this. And yeah, looking back on it, I definitely needed a lot more work on the Disney style. But this time, I think I did a much better job. And if you look back at the Chalk Zone one, I realized halfway through the Disney one that I forgot the lighter tips on the ears, so I went back and fixed that. But yeah, then we go on to Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball was one of my favorite shows growing up. One of the first animes I watched. One of the first ones I fell in love with. Not even Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball. Because I loved the style. I loved the characters. And yes, there were a lot of animal characters in Dragon Ball. If you look back at the show, there are a lot of them walking around, intermingling with characters and people in the show. So I obviously went with this style because I did a lot of Dragon Ball fan art as a kid. And I did a lot of Dragon Ball Z fan art too, but I felt like Dragon Ball fit the style of my new mascot a lot better. And especially with the sort of poire kind of eyes. I just love it, okay? It's fun. It's fun. It's a very sort of simplistic but still kind of detailed style, and I really like that. I really like it about it. It has a very cartoony but still a somewhat realistic-y sense to it. It's like if you want a style that really simplifies things, look more to Dragon Ball rather than Dragon Ball Z. So yeah, I had a field day. I had a field day with this whole challenge. Like, I honestly thought this was going to be more intimidating, and it turned out to be a lot more fun than I initially thought it was going to be. Because I really went back through the references and just like episodes and things for different parts, especially the next one, to make sure that I was nailing the style, that this time I really honed in on it, and that I wasn't just doing a style from memory. Like, I made sure that I was attempting to at least get it close to how things looked. And soon we move on to one of my personal favorites out of this whole thing, which is actually tied with Chalk Zone for the results, and that will be the 1999 Sonic movie, because I grew up watching that on repeat. I still have the VHS, that beautiful, slightly translucent, but not really, it just looks that way because of the plastic. But that white VHS tape with the blue font, and I still have it, and the case, and just beautiful. So for this one, I literally had the 99 movie playing in the background the whole time. Because that movie is so aesthetic. It's a perfect time capsule of the 90s. Music-wise, animation-wise, there's so much about it that I still love, and even going back to it, it's like, it's not even tainted by nostalgic goggles. It is still one of my favorite movies to look back at. And obviously I took a lot of inspiration from Tails in this. And actually, I think Tails at one point has a very similar pose, or at least I've drawn Tails in a similar pose for a different project that I'm working on. That's not for the channel, but just something I'm doing for fun. But man, I am so happy with how this one turned out. This movie, very much for kids. It definitely explains a lot of what's going on as it's happening, but you kind of excuse it because it's just so fun to watch. And again, the music, just the style of everything that goes on in this, just, I love it. I love it. It honestly is, and always will be, one of my favorite movies to this day. And also, something you will notice about this, I use a brush that I had so much issue with. Now, the video of me working without pen pressure, I deleted, because it was a lot of me complaining and me apologizing to B-Top. Even though I did actually make a video talking about that in the past. But yeah, no. Working with a pen that doesn't have pen pressure, when you're used to having pen pressure, is not easy, but I did eventually get over it. And again, I am so happy with how this turned out. This is definitely by far my favorite one out of the whole challenge. And I think at this point, because I recently designed this character. This isn't a character I've been hiding from you guys and been like a secret thing I'm gonna implement into the channel. This is literally something I designed like last month and have just been debating on. So I'm finally introducing Chrissy Cat to the channel as the mascot, and I am working on a new intro that does involve her. I'm just debating on whether or not I want to animate it. Because I think it would be fun to have a nice animated intro. But also, given the times, it's easier for me to animate myself because I can't really afford to pay someone to animate it for me. And also, I mean, I am one of those people that's also very picky about things. And when I have a bit of an I can do that mentality when it comes to something I've dabbled in the past, yeah, no. A new intro is in the works. So on to Pokemon. I knew from the start when I chose Pokemon that I wanted to draw Chrissy Cat as a Pokemon. And it was just a matter of what style, because I kind of combined different like generation styles with this. Like I went with like the Meowth paws and the Meowth feet, but then I kind of stole that whole design for the crop top from think it's right on. I kind of turned that more into like an armor piece. But this one I'm actually very, very happy with. I was a little iffy on this one. The eyes were a big debate for me, because in the end I do end up adding one more circle around the eyes for the whites. But this one, the biggest problem for me with the glasses, I'm just like, I'm gonna have to make it a pattern. I'm gonna have to make it something like Hoot Hoot and have it be a part of the face rather than a separate piece. Because I know there are Pokemon like Scrafty that have clothes-like elements to them, but I definitely wanted this to make it seem more, I don't know, like it could actually be a Pokemon. So I just made the glasses into a facial pattern, and I'm glad I did. Visually, I think this one was a big success, and if you noticed, I did copy and paste a lot of things, because, again, working with that pen, I'm not used to it. I'm not used to working with pens that don't have any sort of pressure sensitivity to them. But I think I was getting the hang of it by the end of this one. But for Inuyasha, that last one, because yes, Inuyasha is the last one, I couldn't. I went back to a pen with pressure sensitivity. But as for Pokemon, that's another one I drew a lot as a kid. I used to draw so many Pokemon cards. Actually, my friends and I, back in elementary school, we actually made our own... Was it Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh? Oh, wait, we did both. We made our own Pokemon cards, and we made our own Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And it was awesome. I loved it. I don't even think I have any of them anymore, because I think they kept most of them, but it was so much fun. So yeah, for this one, I think I definitely captured the style of Pokemon and the various generations very well. And if anything, I feel like a Pokemon with a paintbrush tail. We need more than just Smeargle, okay? We need more than just Smeargle, who is like the artist stereotype with the beret. Because you can't tell me that's not what it is, because that's totally what it is. And you know it. But yeah, Pokemon was a big, big factor. For me, as a kid, it was Pokemon and Dragon Ball Z. Those were two shows that I did so much fan art of. And even the same goes for Sonic. Like, I did so much fan art. And that was very much the start of me really drawing. Granted, not really the start of me taking drawing seriously, but definitely the start of me just drawing a lot. And I'm glad I did. And now on to Inuyasha. This would have been my late middle school, early high school days. I loved Inuyasha. But I also realized when drawing this that I would have to completely rework the character's design. Because there really aren't many animal people characters that aren't more people than animal. So I kind of went the Shippo route, and also Inuyasha is a show that has a lot of characters that have bangs. My character does not have bangs. So I had to work that in there to sort of make it fit. I never realized how many characters had bangs in that show until I went back and looked up reference to make sure I got the style right. And oh my god. Just about every other character has bangs. Or some form of part that goes into bangs. Oh my god. Like, I loved that show. That was very much an inspiration for my style in my teens. And oh man. Oh, I loved it. I still love Change the World. That is by far my favorite intro song. Don't get me started on that song. I could listen to that song on repeat. That was my jam. Forget about any other song in Inuyasha. This was my jam. Although another style that I probably should have thrown in here, but it probably would have been too easy. and probably would have been a cop-out. Hamtaro? That would have been fun. I did a lot of Hamtaro art. Obviously, if you saw one of my last few videos where I went through the art on my lost DeviantArt that I completely forgot about. Oh man. Yeah. I feel like that would have been too easy to tackle, and also I didn't think of it at the time when I was thinking of the styles that I wanted to emulate this time around. But as I said in the beginning of the video, this is the only time I give my character 5 fingers. Because I made her more of a person. And yeah, I think I successfully recreated Inuyasha's style here. I think I did a very good job for my skill set, because I struggled, okay? This was the most difficult one to really get down, but I feel like I succeeded. Like, I feel like with this one, I very much succeeded despite the struggle that I went through with it. It's also the only one I added a little shading to, but that's because Inuyasha's style does also have a lot of shading to. I mean, okay, maybe not a lot, but it does have shading in its coloring style. So yeah, I am very, very proud of myself on this. I am 100% happy about this, and also sorry about any jitter that may be going on during this, because granted, it's not showing up while I'm... Like, the clip itself isn't showing up while I'm narrating this. Probably because it has the edit to it as far as the wobble and the stabilizer, because I have a shaky hand. So I thought, oh yeah, I'll use that feature on here, see if it does anything. Yeah, no, it made the rest of the program shake, and the picture that I'm moving around. Smoother, but oh well. What can you do? But I am very proud of myself on this one. I am very happy with the results. This is one of those times where I can 100% say I feel like I succeeded on a piece, and I am very proud of it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys liked this style challenge. And I hope you guys like Chrissy Cat, because she is going to be a part of more videos from now on, and eventually the intro. Because, again, I'm still working on that. It's very much a work in progress, because animating takes a while. So yeah, if you like what you saw, subscribe, like the video. You know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe. Maybe hit the notification bell, even though I don't think that's really working anymore. So, bye!